question, but how do you replace a guy like Debo who could give you so much from that spot?
You know, it's always tough, but we got plenty of guys that are, great athletes, that are explosive playmakers, and we got to find that guy, Obviously, Brian being back as a punt returner is a benefit. We're going to keep competing there and finding more guys, but got to find a kick returner. There's no doubt about it, and we're doing that this spring, working through it. We did a live rep on Saturday. We'll do another one this Saturday, and so by next September we'll have one. But no, we're excited.
Is there one guy who's standing out as your number one?
There's a couple guys. I think A.J. Turner's a guy that's doing a good job. Shy Smith's doing a good job. Rico can always go back there. Brian can always go back there. Josh Van, the guy. So there's names. We got to find the guy who will hit it, and who can be a difference maker for us.
Well, how did you kind of grade Sherrod Green's first year as a starter, and what does he kind of have to work on through this offseason?
We got to just be more consistent as a group. That's the bottom line, whether it's you're talking about Sherrod or TJ or anybody. We were very inconsistent as a group, as linebackers, and we got to do that because Sherrod, TJ, they made a handful of plays and did a lot of good things for us, but at the end of the day, we were not consistent enough in playing both the run and the pass, and we got to do that, and that's been our challenge, my challenge to them, and our challenge for our group to the room and to the team. We've been talking about that every day.
Were you surprised by TJ's inconsistency, given his veteran status and what y'all I know think of him?
No, I think TJ unfortunately was working through some injuries that he battled throughout the year, and just had some mental inconsistencies. I think that he's obviously put in a lot of work this offseason. We're healthy. He's not doing anything this spring, and he's put a lot of time in, which is a blessing of this new facility, in the meeting room and working on the mental part of the game with me, by himself, with the group, on their own. So, we're investing the time so that doesn't happen again.
Is that something he had not done well enough in the past?
He had, but all young players, that's the hardest transition. It's one of the biggest transitions from high school to college is the amount of time and the amount of investment that it takes, off the field. There's a 20-hour rule, right? There's only so much time you can do on the field, but there's so much more to the game, and that's where we got to raise our level, off the field.
So who do you got working as your holder these days?
Joseph Charles working at it. I think that's something for him as he wants to go to that next level as a punter, that you got to be able to prove that you can both hold and kick off. So he's putting a lot of time into it. Obviously, as a specialist group, they can get a lot of work and a lot of time together, so it's natural. Bailey Hart's been a guy. Michael Allman's been a guy. Obviously we got to replace Danny, and there's some names that are working on it. But Joe's been rolling with the ones, and Parker's getting real comfortable with him, which is great.
And same thing with long snapper. Is it Bunch, I think?
Yeah, Colin Bunch is a kid we dug out of the recruiting office. No, but he's done a good job. His dad actually snapped here at Carolina, and he's a kid from up Pendleton. He's done a good job. We're still working through bringing in some more guys for the fall. So.
Have offenses in the game gotten so complex that you just can't ask a guy like DeCarrion Joyner to be a holder in his spare time?
It's got to be somewhat natural for a guy, and I think part of it is hey man, I got to, coach. I'm investing a lot of time into being the quarterback,
and you can't pull him
out
of those.
And there's some inconsistency. I got to get warmed up. If it's pre-practice, I got to do some things after practice. So that's hard as a quarterback doing it. And the other part is just a kind of a natural. He never did it in high school. He's never done it, and so there's a comfort level. At the end of the day, it starts with Parker, and who Parker feels the best with. And so we've had some conversations about a lot of different guys.
Jay Urich would fit that mold.
Yeah, exactly.
Some options
exactly. And we're still kind of working through that. But in terms of time spent, time invested, right now Joe's the main guy.
What has Derek Boykins shown you this spring?
He's done a good job, man. He's a physical, downhill, heavy-handed kid who can do a lot of different things. He's a kid that he played running back in high school. He played tight end. He did a lot. Wildcat quarterback, all that kind of stuff. So he's a physical guy. the mid-year transition for a linebacker is tough, man. I mean, there's a lot mentally thrown on our guys, and so he's continuing to work through that, and we got to get him caught up and get him caught up to speed and playing fast. But our scrimmage Saturday, man, he fit up in there, and Kevin Harris, a big old, true freshman, big old back, and those two were headbutting a bunch, which was awesome.
Is he